Hello and welcome everyone. This is your host Jordan here to bring you some valuable tips for Valentine's Day. Let's hear what the people of Reddit has to say about it. My fiancée generally has to work on Valentine's Day, and our hours are usually somewhat opposite each other. I'm 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., she's 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. anyway, so it's hard to make the event work as planned on the exact right day. We do usually end up going out to dinner properly on a night when we're both off, but it's become something of a tradition for me to surprise her Valentine's night when she gets off work. Our first year together, she opened the door to our apartment, which tripped a trap I had placed above it to let loose a bunch of fake rose petals around her. The hallway was lit with tea lights leading to the table with her favorite dinner prepared. Nothing super crazy. The next year, I went a little further and turned the entire dining room into a Dexter-style kill room, placing pictures of our cat on the inside of this giant plastic drop sheet tent around the table where I had a cat-shaped meatloaf with a knife through it, while the Dexter theme played in the background. And I may have also hidden in the laundry room, wearing a shirt like Dexter wears in his kills, and used one of those party shot syringes to come behind her and scare her. This past year, I somewhat scaled back because I knew House of Cards was premiering and she'd want to watch it. So, I bought us some ribs, wore a suit all evening, and did as good a Frank Underwood impression as I could all night. It wasn't completely obnoxious, though I did keep doing little asides to a camera that wasn't really there. I also dressed the cat up as Zoe. Needless to say, I do these things as much for myself as her because I do genuinely enjoy the showmanship as well as having a person in my life who inspires me to do such things. But she does many special and wonderful things for me all the rest of the year, and I like to give her some theatrics after what is usually a very long night. Also, I'm mostly writing this because I know she reads my account and she's looking any hint she can find about this year's plans. Not going to happen, sweetie. That was funny and interesting. Let's hear the next one. So, this is a small issue, but I do need some help. My fiancé loves food and doubly loves when I make some for him. He also has mouth orgasms over Ghirardelli chocolate, and I found a Ghirardelli brownie mix that I plan on baking for him. Thing is, I have a 10-year-old brother who has taught me the reason why gluttony is one of the 7 sins. He's the golden child for my narcissistic mother, as in, been diagnosed by a psychologist and everything, who enables his disgusting eating habits like all hell. I live with them, and will be moving out in May after I finish up with school. Every time I bake something, whether it be for friend's birthday or a freaking bake sale, she tells me to leave some aside for my brother. I try to tell her that I can't do this as cutting out a chunk looks bad, plus it's not fair to the other person. I try to sometimes get extra to make for him later, but for some reason she flips out at times if I don't give him some of the one that I'm specifically making for someone else. I won't have time to make more than one batch on V-Day. I'm going to be making it and jetting ASAP so I can get it to my fiancé while it's still warm. I've been thinking about talking to her beforehand to explain to her that I'm making this specially for him, but I'm a bit unsure as to what I should say and how to approach it. Anyone have any thoughts? Like I said, it's a small issue, but I figured might as well put it out there. Let's hear some wise words from the next one. I've been in 3 serious relationships so far and have had more time with someone than being single. Being single now for almost 3 years, I've forgotten how to date, get to know someone, build trust, instead of just giving it right away, lost sight of myself and have questioned life too many times. Sadly, even during my relationships, this has happened as well. Now that I've experienced the heartache and grew patience, I know I'll be able to love again. Love myself more than I have and not give up on myself. In time, I became better. But, as it's in our code, flaws and insecurities arise. Regardless, they make me a part of who I am. I'm not a robot, LOL. This year, I'll be with friends at a house party. It'll most likely be sad at the sight of seeing others in love and having them so with them at their side. But one of the rarest things we can have the benefit to witness is true love. Seeing that in my good friends gives me hope that one day my soulmate will find me, or I find him. In time, things will fall into place. Instead of self-pity and allowing insecurities to ruin my colorful world, I'm happy to spend time with good people and keep feeling love. Love doesn't always have to come from someone you have an intimate relationship with. It can come from family and devoted friends/companions. May everyone's weekend be full of love. We have some valuable tips coming next. Let's go. I wrote a thing a few weeks ago because I'm a romantic sap and my partners always seem to claim they just aren't good at romance. With Valentine's Day fast approaching, I am once again thinking about romantic gestures. Mostly, I'm thinking about not letting my fantasy hopes run away with me. You see, I'm kind of hopeless. I wish I could say, oh, V-Day is stupid. It's a marketing gimmick. Blah blah blah. But I can't. It's true, I love this shit. I want the flowers, candies, and cards. I want it all. To be fair, my love language is gifts, so this is to be expected. And so, every year, this stupid holiday makes me think about all of these things, and then focus on not expecting any of them. Almost every man I've ever dated has said, I'm not really good at romance. To be fair, all of them have had plenty of other good qualities, and since I feel silly over wanting these things, I usually try to make it seem like I don't care. My current boyfriend does an amazing job of making me feel loved every day of the year, and that truly is more important to me than any holiday or gesture. That said, as I get older and more self-aware, I have spent some time thinking about why I feel bad for wanting these things and whether or not I should accept the excuse of I'm not really good at romance. Let's start with the feeling bad. We have a huge segment of society telling us there's only one way to be in love. I call it the Disney princess model because of all the happily ever after, but it exists in TV, movies, books, greeting cards, advertisements, etc., etc. Two people meet, date, fall in love, get married, and live happily ever after. It's a pervasive image. My life doesn't match that model. I have a boyfriend and he have a wife. His wife has a boyfriend who has a wife and another girlfriend. And so on and so forth. Because of anti-polygamy laws in America, my relationship escalator stops at dating. Also, we're not just two people trying to build a life, we're a near endless chain of people trying to coexist. Every date depends on 3 or more schedules. Every commitment affects a variety of lives. Okay, so we have the relationship model, and we have my life. And here's the thing, people who are in untraditional relationships also seem to have untraditional relationship values. I think that Valentine's Day, greeting cards, and roses tend to reek of outdated traditions. And I'm okay with that, but many people around me aren't. So, I try to act like I don't care when really, I care a lot. Yeah, that's really more about me than the holiday, but I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in my feelings. So that's me. Now let's talk about the statement, I'm not really good at romance. At its heart, this declaration is really an excuse. I'm not good at this, so I'm not going to try. Maybe that seems a bit harsh, but surely romance can be a learned skill. Sure, it's easier if these things pop into your mind without lots of extra thought, but so is changing your diet or going to the gym. Romance can be a learned skill and eventually even a habit, just like going to the gym. Sure, Valentine's Day is when this topic comes to a head, but for someone like me, with a gift love language, it really does apply year-round. A few years ago, I tried to explain to someone whose small romantic gestures matter to me by way of an analogy. Think of a relationship as a car. If you take care of the small maintenance like oil changes and tire pressure, you can avoid a lot of major issues. In other words, do small things along the way and you might avoid a fight or feeling like you have to make a big apology gesture. So how does someone learn to be romantic? The same way you learn anything's time and effort. Pay attention. Watch for cues from your partner. Is he the type to point out an upcoming anniversary week in advance? That's a good clue that the anniversary is important to him and he wants it to be recognized. Does she get sentimental about romantic gestures in shows or movies? Next time you two are watching Netflix together, sneak a peek at the list things recently watched or Netflix recommendations. Let their algorithm do some of the work for you. Does he point out little things when you're out and about or say, "I wish someone would do that for me"? These are all clues. Listen closely. Do some research. Figure out your partner's love language. This will give you an idea of what sort of romantic gesture might connect best with your partner. Keep a mental list or Google Doc as you learn your partner's likes and dislikes. Google. It might sound dumb, but there are a million lists and sites out there with ideas. Ask for help. In a perfect world, you and your partner have the sort of relationship that involves lots of honest communication. Admit that this isn't your strong suit and ask for help. I am generally more than happy to give ideas to my partner as long as their goal is to learn. Eventually, I want to stop having to prompt and have the surprise factor kick in. If you want to jump straight to surprise, maybe talk to a mutual friend and see if they have any ideas for you. I think the hardest part of this learnable skill is to just do it. Maybe to get started, you have to set yourself a schedule prompt every so often, reminding you to do something sweet. That plus paying attention to your partner's cues will get you off to a great start. Eventually, you will probably start seeing things here and there that prompt the idea naturally. She had a tough day at work? Send a quick email detailing a few reasons why you love her. He is stuck home feeling ill? Drop off some crackers and aspirin. Contrary to how it must sound, this post isn't saying you have to constantly buy gifts or spend lots of money. It's to encourage small gestures that say things like, "I was thinking about you. This made me think of you. I thought you would like this. I wanted to tell you this." All of these things can be accomplished by a homemade card or even a surprise email/text message. That said, I won't lie, I have a lifelong dream of receiving a beautiful bouquet of flowers at work. But coming home to a card, treat, or grocery store bouquet would also be amazing. If people can learn to speak a foreign language, or climb cliffs, or sail boats, we can learn how to express love in new ways. There are a million skills out there that you aren't really good at until you practice. This is just one more. Let's wind up for today, and we'll meet you guys tomorrow with another interesting stories. If you do like this, please subscribe so that I can keep on doing this. All right, people, goodbye.